As far back as I could remember, I always wanted to be a critic.
I know I'd go from rags to riches if you would only say you care. And though my pocket may be empty, I'd be a millionaire. My clothes may still be torn and tattered.
Even before my 8th birthday, I wanted to review pretty much anything. I loved watching movies and playing games, even the bad ones. I loved saying quotes from movies or parodying them. Eventually, over time, I watched so many, I started developing some favorites. Some I enjoyed more than others. The list would change over time, and whether I'm watching a movie or happen to be thinking of a movie on my way home from school. If I did, I would just stick it on the list. That's why it's some random number like 14, because I didn't want to replace any of the other movies on the list, so I just expanded it.
Now, I'm not going to go into much detail about these movies because I don't want this video to be half an hour long. And I want you to check them out for yourselves. They're really good movies. I highly recommend them, obviously, if you're on my top 14 list. I will go into more detail about the more obscure ones, even though there aren't really that many. I'm also going to divide this video up into 2 parts because I feel like it. Anyway, let's get into it.
Negro, I may be young, but I'm not your boy. I won't pick your cotton or pick up your dishes. Yeah, I sing. I am not your monkey.
I don't.
Stay black, y'all.
This movie came out in 2009, starring the late Robin Williams and the kid from Spy Kids. It's about a struggling writer and teacher dealing with the death of his son who died from, jacking off too much.
You heard me. I'm dead serious. Why would I lie about that?
Because of this, Robin Williams writes a fake, well-worded suicide note that changes people's lives and causes him to attain the publicity he needs to move up in the school he works at, as well as in media as a whole. Great movie, but compared to the other ones on the list, it pales in comparison, making it my number 14.
You'd feel that way, Gary. You were the only one that could have got to that blood. We'll do you last. Get away from me! Retreating! What is it?
I think you've all heard of this one before. It's a horror movie about a group of Americans based in the Arctic who are attacked by an alien creature that can shapeshift into anyone or anything after killing it. This movie stars Kurt Russell and Keith Davids and really speaks for itself. It's a beautifully crafted movie with amazing cinematography and special effects. Enough said.
Boy,
This car. Good, what about this car? Why did I keep the car? 10 people right there. 10 people. 10 more people. This bin. 2 people. This is gold. 2 more people. You would have given me 2 for it.
This, based on a true story film, is about a Nazi Czech businessman, Oskar Schindler, who uses Jewish labor to start a factory in occupied Poland. As World War II progresses and the fate of the Jews becomes more and more clear, Schindler's motivations switch from profit to human sympathy, as he is able to save over 1,100 Jews from death in the gas chambers. The movie has some of the best cinematography I've ever seen, and the story is a heartbreaking emotional roller coaster. It also has the most beautiful soundtrack I've ever heard in any movie. If you're not going to watch it, at least check out the soundtrack. Liam Neeson and Ben Kingsley play their roles to perfection, making this movie the perfect spot for number 12.
Boy, is he strict. Gotta get in there close and find out what's happening. There's our ticket.
boys, look what I got here. Hey, where are the white women at?
One of Mel Brooks' best comedies ever made, starring my favorite actor of all time, Gene Wilder. This satirical look on westerns is a masterpiece. It has hilarious comedy paired with the unlikely duo of Gene and Cleveland Little.
I have a lot of memories with this movie. I remember watching it when I was 7 years old and laughing so hard I couldn't breathe, gasping for air. That's the main reason why it's on this list. Otherwise, it's not like a great movie or anything, but I love it. It's great. It's hilarious. If you want something to laugh, then go check it out.
You're a big cop. Really funny. Really funny. What do you mean I'm funny? It's funny, you know. It's a good story. It's funny. You're a funny guy. What do you mean? You mean the way I talk? What? It's just, you know, you're just funny. It's funny, you know, the way you tell the story and everything.
Breaking into our top 10, we have Goodfellas. This is probably my favorite gangster movie of all time. Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, and Robert De Niro play very convincing and amazing characters that the viewer can relate to. This movie also has some of the best cinematography I have ever seen. The scene will freeze frame when it's an important time in Ray Liotta character's life. Every time you watch this movie, you notice something new and different that you didn't notice previously, which is why this movie is at number 10. This movie is hilarious. I remember watching this movie and laughing so hard my side hurt. This is Charlie Chaplin's first talkie, and it is really, really good. It's almost like a spoof of World War II in its entirety, with Chaplin making fun of Hitler constantly. Man, I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything. Check it out if you want a real good laugh.
Come on, man. I'm not trying to scam anybody here. You know, I'm just,
You're just looking for a handout like every other... Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski?
Well, wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or duder or, you know, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Man, I love this movie. It centers around a dude named Jeffrey Lebowski, played by Jeff Bridges. Some thugs broke into his house because they mistook him for a richer man with the same name. From that point on, the dude goes on many different adventures with his friends to get a new rug from the other Lebowski. That's a pretty bare-bones summary of the plot, because you should really check it out for yourself. It's a complicated film that one needs to watch in order to truly understand.
Game. It's called, put the ball in the hole.
Now, that ought to be just hold it right there. All right. Now that's your spot. Don't move. Never move. That's your spot. You understand? Right there. You don't move. Now,
Take the ball. Here, take the ball. That's it. Now hold on to it. Not too hard, Chief. You'll crush all the air out of it. We're gonna put her in the basket. You understand? All right. Now, raise up your arms. Raise the ball up in the air, Chief. Raise it up.
McMurphy, what the hell you talking to him for? He can't hear a fucking thing.
I ain't talking to him. I'm talking to myself. It helps me think.
This movie stars Jack Nicholson in one of his greatest roles of all time. It's about a prisoner who fakes being insane so he can go to a psychiatric ward, which he believes will be easier to escape than a prison. While staying in the ward, he makes friends within the facility and also realizes that the head nurse doesn't want to help patients at all. He causes mischief along the way, and in the end, it's probably the saddest thing I've seen. One of the saddest endings in film history. It has a very relatable leading character, making this my number 7 pick.